Come on, this is the perfect night. It's Halloween night, with a full moon and a touch of fog. You're even dressed like a pirate. It couldn't get any better than this. That striped shirt and leather pants are amazing. You look just like a swashbuckler. Okay. I dragged you out to this old dock to watch for the phantom treasure. It's a pirate ship. Would you stop? Let me tell this my way. John Morgan was born to an affluent couple in the early 1700s. By all accounts, it was a pretty good life, until dear old Dad ran off one day, leaving Mum with no means of support. Once all their possessions had been sold off, his mum turned to prostitution. That's when his life turned to shit. To be allowed to live in the brothel, he had to make himself useful. The madam had him empty the piss pots and shine the men's shoes while they were serviced by the women. It was a miserable existence, but he didn't know how bad it could get until his mum turned to opium to escape the reality of her situation. It finally got so bad she sold John to her drug dealer for a fix. He escaped the first chance he had and jumped aboard a dinghy that was setting sail. To his bad luck, it was headed out to the Flying Buttress, a notorious pirate ship captained by Bastard Bart. He was quickly discovered, but he had a strong back and he could climb the rigging like a born sailor, so they let him live. He decided the smartest tack to take was to endear himself to the captain. Before long, he was second in command. He enjoyed sailing, and he enjoyed the profits, but the captain was more bloodthirsty than John, now going by the name Jack, could stomach. Once he'd gathered enough ill-gotten gains, he arranged to purchase his own ship and take command of his own crew. But he knew it wouldn't go over well with Bastard Bart. Once you joined Bart's crew, the only way out was to die. Jack had other plans, though. He knew what port they were headed to. What? Oh, I know this because I found Captain Jack's diary. I was in the book section of an old antique store. I was looking for leather-bound books for a photo shoot I was doing. One of the books I bought turned out to be John Morgan, a.k.a. Captain Jack Morgan's diary. Or maybe memoirs is a better word for it. He wrote in the book every evening. Mostly it was about the day's events, but sometimes he'd reminisce about his life as a kid. Anyway, he knew Bart was a superstitious fool and wouldn't sail on All Hallows Eve, and he was able to calculate which port they'd take harbor. It was there he purchased his ship. He had it all refurbished and painted the color of fog with sails to match to aid in his getaway. He waited until Bart was sufficiently drunk not to notice him ducking out of the tavern, which had him setting sail as the clock in the town square struck midnight. For a year or so, he was happy for the first time he could remember. He had his own ship, his own crew. Yes, he was pirating, but he was nice about it as he could be. He treated the boarded ship's officers to dinner as they pillaged the ship's stores. He allowed his crew to bring their spouses or partners on board, if they chose. Once, when they docked at a notorious pirate port, he heard reports that Bastard Bart had put a price on his head. The bounty was enormous, and if he were captured alive, he'd double it. Jack was less worried about himself than he was for his crew and their loved ones. As time passed and the word spread, the danger would grow. He asked his mates what they wanted to do. Should they set sail for distant shores, or should they take the fight straight to Bart? These were hardened sailors, but Bart's reputation was known far and wide. He decided the decision would be theirs. The vote was unanimous. They'd take the fight straight to Bart. As fate would have it, the ships met as Bart was nearing port to sit out All Hallows Eve. With the price Bart had placed on Jack's head, Jack didn't want to engage close to a port where others interested in the bounty could aid Bart. So, Jack drew him into open waters. Apparently, Bart's desire for revenge was greater than his superstitious fear. Once they were far enough out to sea, Jack readied for battle. Cannons roared for hours. Both ships were out for blood. Jack landed the first hit, but Bart refused to back off. Eventually, the Phantom treasure was seriously hit. They were headed toward the shoals. Jack knew that Bart's navigator was far less skilled than his. He had crews working below decks to repair the damage, but he kept the cannons manned. Between the reef and the cannon blasts, Bart's ship went down. Jack ordered their ship back to open waters, convinced that his crew would be able to make sufficient repairs to keep them afloat. Their plan was to find a quiet island and wait for word to spread about Bart's demise. Then, all they'd have to worry about was the Royal Navy, and while that was no small threat, Jack's ship was highly maneuverable and hard to spot. Jack had grown close to his crew, and he wrote in his diary what a relief it was to know that his crew was fairly safe. That feeling of safety didn't stay for long. The last entry in the diary was later that evening. He wrote about a thick fog rolling in, and it would be all hands on deck if they found themselves in a storm with so many repairs still needed. What happened next? I don't know for sure. The rest of the story has been pieced together through various accounts, newspaper articles, court records, and such. Bart's ship was eventually recovered on the shoals, right where Jack's diary said it went down. But neither Jack nor his crew were ever seen again. His ship, the Phantom treasure, was found adrift. The passing ship looted what they could carry, and I'm assuming that included his diary that I later found. They attempted to tow it into port, but the Phantom treasure broke free during a freak storm. Once the weather had passed, they tried to find it again, but it had basically vanished. There have been some occasional sightings, but here's the weird part. They're all on Halloween night, and only during a full moon. They say that if you look hard and believe in the magic of the season, you too will spot the treasure. What? Really? You see it? Where? Well, I brought binoculars. Here, let me dig them out. Okay, I got them. Now, where did you see it? Hey, where did you go? That's not funny. Where the hell did you go? Oh, fucking hell, I see it. That's the treasure. That's the Phantom treasure. Where are you? You're missing it.
You there, matey in the striped shirt. Get to swabbing that deck. There's no free rides on this ship.
Striped shirt? What the? No, it couldn't be. Could it?